Most people open their eyes and immediately pick up their phone. Notifications, messages, social media, the world barges into their mind before they've even taken a breath. And that's exactly how the chaos starts. You see, the problem is not just in the habit, the problem is in what that habit is doing to your brain. From the moment you wake up, your mind is already being pulled, shaped, and distracted by everything except you. That's why the very first thing you need to do every morning is simple but powerful. Just sit with yourself in complete stillness. Not for an hour, not even for 30 minutes, just 5 minutes. 5 minutes to reclaim your mind before the world tries to own it. When you sit in stillness, you create space. Space to hear what's really going on inside you. Space to feel, to think, to connect. This moment becomes the reset button your mind is starving for. No noise. No pressure, just you, your breath, and the silence. That silence isn't empty, it's full of clarity. It's in that stillness where your real strength lies, the kind that doesn't shout, but whispers. And when you start your day from that space, you're no longer rushing through it on autopilot. You're moving through it with intention. Stillness isn't about doing nothing. It's about doing the most important thing, grounding yourself. When you wake up and dive straight into the world, your mind is scattered before it even gets a chance to focus. You end up spending the whole day reacting to stress, to pressure, to people's opinions. But when you start your morning in silence, you shift from reaction to creation. You're not a slave to the day, you're a designer of it. And that changes everything. And I get it, the mind will resist. It'll say this is boring, or you don't have time for this. That's the noise, that's the old programming fighting to stay in control. But if you can push through that resistance and just breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth, if you can slow your body down, your thoughts will begin to slow down too. The storm inside will settle. And in that calm you'll hear the voice you've been drowning out your own. The truth is, most people have no idea what they're feeling because they've never slowed down long enough to check in. That's why they're anxious. That's why they're overwhelmed, because there's no space to process, to reflect, to just be. But you're taking that space now. That silence you give yourself every morning, it's not a luxury, it's a lifeline. It's a way to come back to yourself before the noise pulls you in 1,000 directions. And the beautiful thing is, you don't need anything fancy. No music, no apps, no equipment. Just you sitting on your bed, maybe on the floor, eyes closed, back straight, breath steady. This is you reminding your brain who's in charge. This is how you rewire it to stop craving constant input and start finding peace in presence. When you make this a habit, your mind becomes clearer. Your decisions get sharper. You feel more connected to yourself and less dependent on the world to tell you how to feel. And once you experience that kind of inner power, you won't want to start your day any other way. This is how real transformation begins. Most people walk through life carrying an identity that was never chosen by them, but forced on them, by pain, by past, by people who never saw their potential. And the worst part is, they keep repeating those same old stories in their minds every day. I'm not good enough. I'll always be stuck. Nothing ever works out for me. And without even realizing it, those thoughts become their reality. That's why one of the most powerful things you can do every single morning is speak into your future before the world speaks into your mind. Not whisper, speak out loud with conviction, with belief, even if your voice shakes. Your words are not just sounds, they are commands to your brain, commands to your spirit. And when you wake up and speak the truth about who you're becoming, you begin to reprogram the way your mind sees yourself. That's how you start shifting your identity. You see, your brain is always listening, and it doesn't care whether you say something empowering or destructive. It just accepts what you tell it and builds your life around it. So if all you ever say is what's wrong with you, your brain will find more proof to support that. But the moment you decide to stop narrating your fears and start declaring your future, everything changes. It doesn't matter how you feel when you start. Speak anyway. You don't wait for confidence to show up, you create it. Stand in front of that mirror and look yourself in the eyes. even if it feels uncomfortable. Say what needs to be said. I am powerful. I am focused. I am not here to live on repeat. I am here to rise. And you repeat it until you start to believe it, because belief doesn't start in the heart. It starts in the repetition. The mind will always default back to the strongest voice it hears daily, and if you're not giving it a strong voice in the morning, then guess what? It's going to latch on to the voices of fear, doubt, and insecurity that are waiting for you the moment you scroll, the moment you compare, the moment you listen to everything outside of you. But when you make your voice the first voice your mind hears, you start leading instead of following. It's not magic, it's not hype, it's training. You're training your nervous system to feel grounded. You're training your brain to filter life through a lens of possibility. And the more you practice, the more automatic it becomes. You start showing up differently, you carry yourself differently. People feel it even if they can't explain it. That's the energy of someone who's not waiting to feel good, but someone who's decided to take control of their narrative. Speak like your life depends on it, because in a way it does. The words you choose in the morning shape your mindset, your emotions, your focus, and eventually your results. So choose intentionally. Speak with purpose, because one sentence in the morning can stop a spiral. One declaration can pull you out of an old identity and plant the seed of a new one. And if you do it consistently, day after day, you'll start to notice that you're no longer chasing confidence, you're becoming it. This is how you rebuild from the inside out. You can't change your life with a lazy body. You can't rewire your brain while you're still lying in bed, scrolling through other people's highlights, hoping today feels different than yesterday. If you want energy, clarity, strength, you've got to move. And not just for fitness, not just to look good, but to shift something deeper inside you. The way you treat your body in the morning is the way your mind will treat your goals. That's why you have to move like you love yourself, like your life depends on it, because truth is it does. See, movement is not just physical, it's emotional, it's psychological. The moment you push your body to move, even when you don't feel like it, even when you're tired, you're sending a direct message to your brain, I'm in control. I'm not sitting in yesterday's excuses. I'm here, I'm awake, and I'm ready, and the brain responds. It starts firing new pathways. Dopamine, endorphins, energy. You flood your system with chemicals that say, let's go. And just like that, the fog starts to lift. Your thoughts get clearer, that heaviness in your chest starts to fade. You stop feeling stuck, because it's impossible to stay mentally frozen when your body is in motion. Don't overthink it. You don't need a gym, a trainer, a program. All you need is intention. Maybe it's a set of push-ups on the floor. Maybe it's jumping jacks. Maybe it's dancing to your favorite track like nobody's watching. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be done with purpose. You're not working out, you're waking up your spirit. You're shaking off doubt. You're disrupting patterns. You're saying with every rep, every breath, I'm showing up for me. And the best part is, you don't even need motivation to start. You just need movement. Movement creates momentum, and momentum will carry you on the days when your mind is trying to talk you out of it. The moment you move, your whole internal system starts to shift. You walk taller, you breathe deeper, you think sharper, and when you train your body to rise early, to sweat a little, to break the inertia, you're not just getting stronger physically, you're building a mindset that refuses to stay down. Too many people are waiting for the perfect time to feel good, but you can't wait for a good day to create one. You create it through action. You tell your body, this is who we are now. Every morning that you choose to move, even a little, you're creating a new rhythm, a new energy, a new identity. And that identity, that powerful, disciplined version of you, becomes your new normal. You'll notice something powerful start to happen. You'll stop feeling overwhelmed by challenges. You'll stop hesitating on decisions. Why? Because your body is already used to stepping into discomfort every single morning. You're training yourself to do hard things without needing hype, without needing permission. You're training your nervous system to associate movement with progress, and progress is what builds confidence. When you move your body like you love yourself, you stop treating life like a punishment. You start treating it like a gift, a chance to rise, a chance to evolve. And every drop of sweat, every stretch, every heartbeat reminds you you're alive, and that means you still have time to become who you were meant to be. This is how you activate the power within you. Your brain is like a sponge in the morning. It's fresh, open, ready to absorb, but what you feed it in those first moments becomes the lens through which you see your entire day. And most people are feeding it noise, distractions, junk information. They wake up and scroll through other people's lives, other people's opinions, and then wonder why they feel lost, drained, unmotivated. You can't rewire your brain on a diet of chaos. You've got to feed it growth. Before the world gets a chance to shape your thoughts, shape them yourself. Pour something into your mind that sharpens you, challenges you, awakens you. That's how you create a mental edge, by learning before the world distracts you. Before the texts come in, before the news starts shouting, before the responsibilities hit, take 10 minutes and pour truth into your mind. Read a few pages of a book that expands your perspective. Watch a short video that inspires depth, not just hype. Listen to a podcast that speaks to your future, not your fear. It doesn't have to be long. It just has to be intentional, because that input becomes the voice in your head when pressure hits later in the day. This is how you take control of your mental environment. Most people protect their phones more than they protect their minds, but if your mind isn't right, nothing else will be. If your mind is full of clutter, everything feels overwhelming. But when your mind is clear, focused, equipped with fresh insight, you walk into your day like a leader, not a follower. You don't get knocked off course by small problems, because you've already fed your brain something bigger than your problems. And what's powerful is, learning in the morning isn't just about information, it's about activation. You activate different parts of your brain, the parts responsible for creativity, decision making, discipline. You literally turn on the best version of yourself, and over time this becomes your advantage, because while everyone else is distracted and reactive, you've already been building yourself from the inside. Quietly, consistently. You don't need to memorize everything. You don't need to read 100 pages. All you need is one idea, one line, one insight that clicks, that makes you pause, that makes you think differently. That's how rewiring works. One new thought that challenges the old thought, and your brain starts shifting. It starts letting go of patterns that don't serve you anymore. It starts craving growth instead of comfort. It starts seeking challenge instead of avoiding it, and when your brain starts operating like that, you become unstoppable. The goal isn't to become the smartest person in the room. The goal is to become the sharpest version of you. To be so tuned in, so mentally alert, that you don't get tricked by old fears or small distractions. To stay ready because you've been feeding your mind with purpose every morning, before anyone else has a chance to pull you into their agenda. And don't say you don't have time. You do. It's not about having time. It's about making it. 5 minutes, 10 minutes. That's all it takes to start shifting your mindset from passive to powerful. Because what you learn today might be the exact thought you need to carry you through a hard decision, a stressful meeting, a moment of doubt. And when you feed your mind first thing in the morning, you stop showing up like a victim of life, and you start showing up like a creator of it. This is how you build a mind that leads, not follows. You know what most people miss in their morning routine. Gratitude, real, deep, grounded gratitude. Not just saying I'm thankful out of habit, but actually feeling it in your body, in your soul. Because when you wake up and all you see is what's missing, what's wrong, what's late, what hurts, you start the day in a state of lack. And lack attracts more lack, but the moment you shift into gratitude, everything starts to change. You begin seeing through a new lens, a lens of abundance, a lens of strength, a lens that reminds you you're already blessed, already equipped, already further than you used to be. Gratitude isn't a passive thing. It's not soft. It's powerful. It's the most active decision you can make when life feels heavy, because life won't always go the way you plan. People will disappoint you. Things will fall through, but if you've trained your mind to wake up and immediately focus on what is working instead of what's not, you develop emotional armor. You build a mindset that refuses to be shaken by temporary circumstances. Every morning, take just a few minutes to speak out loud what you're grateful for, and don't make it complicated. Start with breath. Start with the fact that you opened your eyes, that you have one more shot at this life, that somewhere someone is praying for what you already have. Gratitude puts you in alignment with reality. It grounds you. It strips away the lies that say you're behind or not enough, and it reminds you of how far you've already come. And when you stack gratitude with movement, with intentional words, with learning, now you're unstoppable. Because you're not just building muscles or routines. You're building perspective, and perspective is everything. You might not have the perfect job yet. You might be facing pressure. But if you can see the beauty even in the chaos, if you can see purpose in the pain, then you're no longer just surviving. You're growing. It rewires your brain to stop focusing on fear. Fear says, what if it all goes wrong? Gratitude says, what if it's already going right? It reminds your nervous system that you're safe, that you've made it through worse, that there's more working in your favor than against you. That shift alone will change the tone of your entire day. Your energy changes, your mood shifts. You stop needing everything to be perfect, and you start seeing what's already powerful, and you don't have to fake it. Even on your hardest days, there's something to be thankful for. Even if all you can say is, I'm still here, that's enough. Gratitude is not about ignoring your problems. It's about remembering that your problems don't get to define your day. You do, and the moment you take control of your focus, you take control of your life. There's always going to be noise, distractions, disappointments, but when you wake up and train your mind to search for light, even if it's small, you build a resilience that can't be broken. That's how you rise above circumstances, not by changing everything outside of you, but by shifting everything inside of you. And that shift begins with choosing gratitude, even when it would be easier to complain. This is how you turn your mindset into your power. There's something most people never do in the morning, and yet it's one of the most important habits to rewire the mind, setting clear intentions. Not vague hopes, not passive wishes, but bold, clear, intentional direction. The moment you wake up, your mind is in a sensitive state, easily shaped, easily influenced. If you don't give it direction, it will drift. It'll latch on to whatever stress, distraction, or emotion hits first. And when your mind drifts, so does your day, so does your energy. That's why you have to take back control before the world gives you something meaningless to chase. Setting an intention isn't about being rigid or perfect. It's about clarity. It's about choosing your focus instead of living on default. Most people are reactive. They wait for the day to decide how they feel. But when you set an intention, you're telling your brain, this is who I am today. This is how I move today. This is what I create today. That's the difference between surviving and leading. You don't wait to see what happens. You decide how to show up, no matter what happens. And here's the thing, your intention can be simple. It can be one sentence, one word even. Today I lead with courage. Today I focus on growth. Today I stay grounded. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's true to what you need. When you speak it, when you feel it, when you remind yourself of it throughout the day, it becomes your compass. When you feel distracted, your intention brings you back. When emotions start pulling you in different directions, your intention holds you steady. It becomes the anchor that keeps you aligned with your higher self. Your brain is a goal-seeking machine. It's always looking for targets. But if you don't set a target, it will chase anything: attention, validation, comparison, fear. That's why most people end the day feeling tired and empty, not because they didn't work hard, but because they were pulled in too many directions. But when you start your morning by setting an intention, you create internal alignment. Your thoughts, your actions, your emotions, they all begin working toward the same thing. And that's when your energy starts compounding instead of leaking. Don't underestimate this habit. It sounds small, but it creates major shifts. Because the moment you take 5 minutes to visualize your day, to speak clarity into your path, you activate a level of presence most people never reach. You're no longer drifting, you're choosing. You're no longer scattered, you're focused. And from that space, you begin to live with purpose, even in the small moments, even in conversations, in your work, in how you treat people, how you carry yourself. Intention turns ordinary actions into conscious steps forward. And the best part is it builds on itself. One intentional day becomes 2, then a week, then a month, and without even realizing it, you've changed. Not by doing more, but by doing what matters with more presence. You stop reacting to life, and you start creating a life that reflects your values, your vision, your truth. That's how you build a life that feels aligned, by starting every morning not in chaos, but in clarity. Not hoping for peace, but choosing it. This is how you lead your life instead of being led by it.